So you've been doing a lot of consulting lately.
Yes.
What's a common question that people come to you with?
I mean, typically is everybody wants to know based on what their situation is, what's the next step in the right direction? Okay. I get people from all different levels. I get kids, in high school, graduating or whatever, or even younger. And they want to know what the next move is. They want a plan. They want to get cooking, baby. And so I look at what they are, what they got, who they are, where they're at in their life, and what would I do if I was in their shoes? And that's what I try to tell them to do. Whatever. I have guys that have 100 million that consult with me. I got people that have nothing. They're first getting their first house and they got to go to FHA. I got some people that can't even raise the FHA deposit. You know what I tell them to do? Because they have an interest in real estate anyway.
Mhm.
Get your license. Okay, you go buy that house and you represent yourself and you found a house yourself. Well, FHA is 3.5% down. The commission's 3%. How much you going to put down on that $200,000 house? $1,000.
Does FHA allow you to use commissions on a closing towards a down payment?
Of course, because number one, it's in the closing. The money's going to
Right.
you.
Correct.
It's your money. You earned it. And FHA loans to real estate people and agents and everybody. Yes, they will, because if you show them, they're not illogical. It would be illogical for them not to.
That's what I was doing
You're earning it.
when
You're
I was an
working.
agent.
You
I would
did
use
it.
my commission. It was a hassle.
Well, back then,
I
things
mean,
have changed a little bit.
yes, sure. But I've
Back
jumped
then,
through so many
you always
hoops to
had
try to
idiots
do
always
that.
questioning everything. But
Yeah.
if the lender is a real lender and they understand, listen, it's your money. You earned it.
Yeah. What are the most frustrating calls that you get? Or
Frustrating calls?
Or people that you see and
People
you
that have just got too much going on in their life and they're not ready for it. Like, I have consults with people that just they're trying to be big shots and they didn't earn it. We had the video about the guy in Vegas. He's driving a Lamborghini, okay, but he ain't got no money in the bank. Does that make any sense? It's stupid. Why do you drive a Lamborghini if you got no money in the bank? All right. And when I say no money, I mean like at least 50 grand, 100 grand.
Mhm.
Sell a Lamborghini and get your shit together. You don't need it, and you don't want. Everybody wants to be a big shot before they earn it.
How did he justify buying the Lamborghini?
How do you justify it?
How did he? Like, what was his reason when you were like, why did you do this?
Listen. I'm sure you have done it. We've all done it. When I was younger, I bought a Ferrari I shouldn't have bought. Okay, I really wasn't financially ready for it. When you're young and you're impulsive and you want to look cool, and it's the only way you're going to get a girl is to have a nice car. You do things that don't make sense, and you have to discipline yourself. That it would be nice to have his Lamborghini, and I could I make the payment, but then I want money for something else, or I'll never be able to grow, or I'll never be able to save money. I mean, you can't make stupid decisions in your life. I've made them. I'll be the first to admit I made plenty of stupid decisions. When I was younger. But I learned from my mistakes, and I try to let people learn from my mistakes, like my kids especially. I always tell them, listen, I've been there. I've done that. Okay, that was my mistake, and don't do it.
And if you want consulting from Ben, that'll be linked down below.
Listen, I'm not bragging, but I don't know anybody out there that the average person, not the big shots maybe, can call to get real advice. That I'm not looking for anything. I don't want they're going to pay the fee because, my time is valuable. I could be working on a $10 million deal. Rafal crying, he needs to make money running the channel and coordinating and making appointments and all this stuff. The point is this, I don't ever give people bad advice. Okay, I just tell them my opinion, what I would do if I was in their shoes, and I truly try to help them. How many other people do you know that you can, for a few $100, get on the phone that's worth, 500 million or whatever, and get really good advice? To me, I become your friend. I'm like a friend. I'm a real friend that you can trust and call to get solid, logical advice on your real estate.
See, I honestly, I was telling you off camera. I think you're underpriced for where you are.
I
mean,
agree.
if anyone books you, it's at a bargain. Like they
that's
are
good.
getting the better deal.
That's it.
All
That's
things
good.
considered,
Well, now
like,
I can help
objectively.
people that don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes people do get on the phone and I feel bad. And I'll say, well, okay, because right away I'm going to ask them, what are you making? What do you own? What do you got? I got to understand that person's life. And I'm making notes. Okay, he's this age. He lives here. He's got this much coming in a year. He owns his house. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. And a lot of them ain't got. And, you know, for them, the extra few $100 is a lot, you know, to spend. So I try to really help these people. And I've gotten so many compliments and so many people have come back to me and said, oh, my God, I'm so glad I listened to you and I did what you said. I had people, families in the Bahamas coming up to me. You know, they were traveling from Miami. Families coming up to me and they heard I was there. They came to my boat, which I love, and they were just thanking me. A Spanish family from Miami that listened to me and they made money. And the kids were there, and it was great.
I can attest to this. We were in the Bahamas, and someone came up, and you invited them on the boat. Him and his wife.
I'm nice to everybody.
And you
if you're
hosted
nice
them
to me, I'm
drinks.
nice to you.
Carla made them margaritas.
When somebody wants to say hello to me or take a picture or whatever, it's the most flattering thing in the world. I love it. And everybody I meet is always super nice. Always. I've never met an asshole yet. Well, okay, there was one Hasidic crazy Jew, but he was mentally ill in New York City once. And I had to tell him, go away.
So you grew up poor and now you've made a fortune. What would you say are the biggest mentality shifts around money that you've experienced?
You know, when you have money, for me, it was being exposed to other people that worked hard their lives and were successful. And I don't know, you could say it's, you know, moving up a class. It showed me the better way of living. Okay. Yes. When I moved here, I still was kind of rough. I made some good money before I moved here, you know, but I was never around like a lot of classy people. You know, I was never around country clubs. Now I belong to 3 of them. Okay, I wasn't able to expose my kids to a finer life, you know, with people and good people, nice people. I mean, they're not stuck up. I mean, you know, there's a lot of rich people in this area here that are just genuinely really super nice people. And a lot of them came from nothing like me. But, you know, but they carried themselves and they lived a certain way, and I respected it and liked it. You know, with the nice house and, you know, and acted to raise their kids respectful, you know, and they talked like normal people and respectful people and had manners. You know, it's like I noticed my son, every time my youngest son talks to any adult, it's always yes, sir, no, sir, you know, and very respectful. And it really brought our quality of life and the way we felt, how we lived a lot better.